So, as you have no doubt already heard, Donald Trump has coronavirus. He has been diagnosed. He has tested positive early this morning and actually put out a tweet around 1 a.m. Now, it's not just Donald Trump, of course, his wife Melania as well. And this comes after news that Hope Hicks, the previous day, had also tested positive for COVID-19. So now, as a result, chaos. Pure chaos. All right, so before I get to that, let me just point out the irony of this entire situation. We have a president who downplayed the virus very publicly, very openly, even at the debate earlier this week on Tuesday, as Hope Hicks was possibly was likely infectious and infecting people around her around the debate. You had President Trump mocking Joe Biden about the fact that he wears masks. Okay, so a little bit of irony, right? Not only that, but he hocked phony cures like hydroxychloroquine and things like bleach, injecting disinfectant. Don't do that, as well as light bulbs, some sort of fluorescent light. Anyway, yeah, you get the point. So now, it did take a while to get to him. I'm actually kind of surprised that he had gotten the virus this late in the game, after doing, countless rallies, one of which unfortunately killed Herman Cain. So Herman Cain got coronavirus after being at an indoor rally, indoor Trump rally. So there it is. But I do, again, pointing out the irony of the situation, right? Complete and utter irony. And I just want to hear somebody. I want to hear a reporter on the Hill. I want to hear them ask, how exactly did you catch a hoax, Mr. President? How is that possible? I just want to hear that. All right. So that said, the reason I can be a little bit more flippant about it is because even though they've got coronavirus, so far, they're actually doing fairly well. They're in isolation, quarantine for at least the next 10 days, and so far are only reporting mild symptoms, which is pretty good in Donald Trump's case, considering that he, like myself, is an overweight American. But unlike him, I am not 74 years old. So he does have risk factors, but lucky for him, he will have the best medical care the United States taxpayer can pay for. And so I'm not really worried about him. So that said, what does this mean for the debates? I don't think we're going to have them. Let's be honest. But getting back to the mild symptoms for a second, I did forget to note something here. So AIDS had noticed for the last few days that he was actually looking pretty tired, pretty wiped out, even sounding a bit hoarse. And they had originally chalked it up to, well, look, he's got a campaign schedule. He's campaigning. He's having a hard time. It's a brutal campaign, and that would be true. And so post-debate exhaustion. Well, the thing about Trump is he doesn't get tired from the debate. Donald Trump loves this stuff. He lives for it. And so I don't know. Maybe, I guess. But it turned out to not be the case. That said, COVID wipes you out. And so, well, we see that happening. We see it happening. All right, so, again, what does this mean going forward? Well, there's no debates, as far as I know. The debate schedule and Donald Trump's schedule, at least for the next 10 days, has been just, frozen. He's not going anywhere. He's not doing anything, which is what you're supposed to do in quarantine. Now, Joe Biden, some are worried about Biden. So far, good news, the Bidens have been tested and have come up negative. So far, so good for that. But there are plenty of people around Donald Trump inside the White House that have, unfortunately, tested positive for the virus as well. There's more, actually. Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel tested positive for the virus on Wednesday after a member of her family tested positive. An RNC spokesman told NBC News. Spokesman added that McDaniel has been at her home in Michigan since Saturday. And there, of course, more. Senator Mike Lee tested positive. Let's see. You also have, basically Hope Hicks. But then again, there could be more very, very soon. So, CoVid has an incubation period of between 2 to 14 days. And so generally, I think we'll start to see more people come down with it. It's going to be very interesting. Now, Trump's campaign, again, is in absolute chaos as a result of this. He's not going to be doing any rallies. And it's funny because the last rally that he did was on Wednesday night in Minnesota. His family was not wearing masks in the audience. He also traveled to New Jersey on Thursday for a fundraiser. Of course, he had coronavirus then. So basically, what he did is that he exposed many people on the campaign trail to the virus needlessly. There were people that around him that were not wearing masks. Chris Christie, for example, he also said, because he was helping Trump with debate prep, he's like, nobody was wearing masks in the room. The sessions involved about 5 or 6 people, according to Christie, and he said that when he left the White House on Tuesday, he didn't notice any symptoms from Hicks or the president. But even if you're not showing symptoms, that would be about, probably the 4th day that she had it, because the 5th day you usually present symptoms, at least by then, but you were still contagious before then. And so who knows, right? So now, NBC News contributor Vin Gupta, pulmonologist and global health policy expert, said this did not have to happen. If they were practicing proper procedures and not going to these rallies and having chaotic events where, of course, airborne exposure was going to happen, even if it was in an outdoor setting. No masking, no distancing. What did they expect was going to happen? Well, they should have expected this. I'm surprised that they didn't. I don't know why. But again, this could be potentially bad for Trump. Again, we're so far right now, mild symptoms, but Donald Trump's at risk. He's about 244 pounds. He's obese. He's older. And so he has risk factors. That said, so far, his physician says he's healthy. And so, I don't know. He's got risk factors, though, and that's important. But it is enough to worry about, especially if you're somebody who's concerned about the health of the United States at this point and having a leadership structure in place. That's why you're hearing some talk about the 25th Amendment. Using the 25th Amendment because it allows you to, do something in case the president is, quote unquote, incapacitated, which would be the case at this point because he is going into quarantine for the next 10 days. So I don't know, but he is off the campaign trail. And of course, there will be a political cost to this. For example, you've got, Democratic pollster, a Trump advisor saying that this, quote, Mr. Trump's recklessness amounted to political disaster. And then Jeff Guerin, who's a Democratic pollster, said the announcement is likely a critical blow for the president's reelection campaign hopes. Quote, Trump is now in position of becoming exhibit number 1 for his failure of leadership on coronavirus, and he runs the risk that his supporters will feel misled by his dismissiveness of the virus and the need for precautions. Although it could go the other way. If he comes out of this just fine in 10 days, he can say, coronavirus, nothing to worry about. It's fine. It's all good. It's a hoax. Oh, no. Oh, if that happens, oh, boy. Do you think Donald Trump's going to learn any sort of humility if he kind of skates through this like he does everything else? I don't know. Overall, though, politically for his campaign and for the White House, it's chaos. Everybody's running around trying to get tested. Mike Pence got tested. He's tested negative. Barron Trump tested negative. That's good. I don't want anything to happen to the kid, obviously, or to anybody else. And numerous aides, of course, are running around getting tested as well. And then you're going to have the people that did test positive for this virus not being able to work for at least 10 days. And so, I mean, there it is. Chaos. And it looks like the Rose Garden, Amy Coney Barrett's party at the Rose Garden might have been ground zero for this, might have ended up being a super spreader event. So just keep that in mind. 100% chaos, 100% self-inflicted. Did you expect anything less from the Trump administration? If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.